Well, the weekend has begun. As you know, we got a ton of wrestling definitely going to be reviewing. But however, I decided to minimize them to three due to some personal things outside of this channel that basically caught my attention. But for right now, this is what we have. First things first, we're going to be reviewing the latest New Japan wrestling, the Road to Wrestling Dondaku. We continue with more of that tour, but this one features, of course, two title matches. The New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. The former champions Hikuleo and El Fantasma, better known as, of course, God. Will they be able to regain their belts that they lost to their opponents, which is the current champions TMDK? Well, we're just gonna find out. Then, of course, we have Yuya Uemura, who will be challenging for the KLPW title against the Great Okan. Can the former Young Lion do the unthinkable? Well, we just gotta wait and see as well. And then, of course, there's the elimination match between, of course, LIJ Los Ingorbenables de Japón versus Bullet Club War Dogs, along with Noah's Jake Lee. Then we move on, of course, with two back-to-back shows with AEW. We got Collision, as you know, Swerve Strickland as the newest AEW World Champion has put out an open challenge, and we have various other things taking place. And of course, on Rampage, we do have, of course, the parking lot brawl between two former best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, face off. Then we have, of course, the main event featuring Daniel Garcia teaming up with Katsuyori Shibata to take on Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty of the Shane Taylor promotion. So we'll see about that as well. Then we cap it up with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and various other things as well. So let's get ready for another episode in Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews from this channel and other cool content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or leave us a comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, I believe it's time to get the show on the road. So let's begin with, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling with more Road to Wrestling Dondaku. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We are continuing with more to Road to Wrestling Dondaku. They're in Hiroshima, and this just recently is the latest show that just put out. It opened up with a pre-show Frontier Zone tag team match. We have team number one, Ray Paloma, teaming up with Hanzo. Now, I have seen Ray Paloma before. He's the guy who drops his pants down, in case you guys ever seen him. But yes, but they take on 2/3 of the never openweight six-man tag team champions. We're talking about the Ichiban Meat Boy, Boltin Oleg, and of course Toru Yano. So you would think that they would have the home field advantage, which it kind of did because it was, of course, um, Boltin Oleg picked up the win when he applied a kamikaze onto Ray Paloma while his pants were down. You can see his butt, but nonetheless, he picked up the win. Now, our next match we have is the Bullet Club, consistent of Taiji Shimori, Kenta, and Chase Owens taking on Tiger Mask and, of course, Bishamon, who are the current IWGP Tag Team Champions. Now, we know that Chase Owens and Kenta want to have another opportunity against Bishamon to regain the titles that they lost from them. But of course, like always, Chase Owens walked away with a cheat, cutting corners by cheating by whacking Tiger Mask with the belt, allowing for him and his team to win. However, they decided to give a beatdown to Bishamon to show them once and for all that those titles are going home with them on Wrestling Dondaku. Now, our next match, we have the United Empire consisting of Francesco Akira and Jeff Cobb taking on TMDK, Kosa Fujita, and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, prelude to the story is the fact is that Jeff Cobb will have an opportunity of the New Japan Strong World Television title, which is a title that he has chased before, but unfortunately, he was unsuccessful because Zack Sabre Jr. at the time walked away from it. But this time, there's no Jeff Cobb is 100% confident he will walk out because he put Costa Fujita in the Tour of the Islands, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, I really hate these guys, those pieces of garbage. House of Torture. Yujiro Takahashi, Ren Narita, and Evil. They take on Shota Umino, El Desperado, and Tomohiro Ishii. So we have seen how things have been looking great between Ishii and Despi for a while now. However, of course, we were going to see House of Torture with the usual things. But however, in this match, it was Shota Umino who picked up the win onto Yujiro Takahashi, applying Death Rider, and just like that, it was over. However, that piece of garbage, Ren Narita, attacked Shota Umino with the push-up bar, sending a direct message to Jon Moxley. Of course, he thinks that Jon Moxley is going to lose to him, that he's a pathetic loser, that people should not support a guy like him, that he's the real deal. But however, I don't think Ren Narita has ever faced a guy like Moxley. But I just hope Moxley teach him a lesson about disrespecting him. But we'll see. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting match. We have Shoma Kato, the young lion, teaming up with Tomoaki Hamna, while his teammate in the Young Lions, Katsuya Murashima, teams up with the Ace Tanahashi. You would think that this is a good learning curve for both Kota and Murashima, which I believe it did. But however, it was Tanahashi that put Kota in the in the Texas Cloverleaf, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have the members of Just Five Guys, consisted of Taka Michinoku and Doiki taking on the other members of the House of Torture, specifically Kanemaru and, of course, Sho. Now, Sho, as you know, he does not want to defend the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title because feels that his defense record is at jeopardy. What defense record? He just doesn't want to defend it because he's a big old crybaby with big ass diapers. That's the problem. So he's defending it. However, of course, when it comes to this match, he was gonna cheat. Kanemaru actually low blowed Taka Michinoku. But however, of course, um, Sho was trying to remind Doiki that he will not get a title match at all. He will get a match with him, but not the title match. Doiki ripped off the contract, and then, of course, the other pieces of garbages, Evil and Dick, showed up out of nowhere. But luckily, Taichi took matters in his own hands and take care of them. And of course, it was Doiki who took care of Sho, putting him in a submission move, forcing him to sign the brand new contract that says he will have an opportunity of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. So we'll see what that leads to. But Sho wrote it. He even said some negative comments saying that, Doki will not beat him. Well, we'll see. I mean, he's not going to let his guard down. That's what for sure. Now, our next match, this is one of two title matches, the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. God, consisting of Hikuleo and El Fantasmo, will be challenging for the titles against TMDK, Shane Hayes, and Mikey Nichols. Now, don't forget these two guys. TMDK did defeated, of course, Hikuleo and El Fantasmo for a shot of these titles. But they will get a rematch. But unfortunately, things did not go according to plan. Apparently, Nichols was able to pick up the win by pinning Hikuleo, but he used Hikuleo's tights in order to do so, allowing for them to retain the belts. But not satisfied by Hikuleo how this ended. But that's how it is, and it's the ref's final. Now, our next match is the KOPW Championship. We have Yuya Uemura as the challenger taking on Great O'Khan. Well, there was a lot of variables that happened. Of course, Yuya Uemura would have picked up the first win. Second win, what's his name, Great O'Khan. But it was the third win that was crucial. Basically, you had to put the opponent through a table, and that's exactly what happened for Kanemaru. He beat him in that way. We'll be seeing more of Yuya Uemura as the champion. So, and also on a note, Yuya Uemura is now the second member of uh, Just Five Guys to carry this title. If you guys remember, Taichi was the previous champion. So I'm sure Taichi has no grudges against that. But we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match is an elimination match. We have Jake Lee. He teamed up with the members of the Bullet Club War Dogs, consistent of Drilla Maloney, Clark Connor, the current IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. They team up with, of course, the little loudmouth, paranoid freak, Gabe Kidd, and of course, the biggest crybaby of them all, David Finlay. However, they will face off with LIJ, and they brought in a little mascot since they're in Hiroshima. Those who know this, Naito is a big fan of the Hiroshima Carp, a baseball team. Well, he brought his friend and mascot, Sly, into giving him the boost and confidence, which it worked. However, I can tell you how this match ended. It was between Jake Lee and Naito, and just like that, it was completely over. So, I enjoyed this match. It was a lot of fun. I think we'll be getting to May 4th, which is the actual Wrestling Dondaku soon enough. But right now, let's move on with our next review, and I believe that is AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. As you know, we still are coming off after what happened on two fronts. One this past Sunday with Dynasty, and the other this past Wednesday. As you know, in Dynasty, we crowned, of course, a brand new TBS champion, a brand new, of course, tag team champions, brand new, of course, world champion. But however, what was the aftermath afterwards? We did see, of course, something very, very interesting. We saw Tony Khan, the boss. He got what they call the TK driver now by the Bucks. This was a bit of a plot between the Elite to get even, to try to make things right in AEW, to put it back on track. However, it opened up with, of course, with Swerve Strickland, our current AEW World Champion, giving his thoughts after what happened in Dynasty, the matches. But the one thing he brought out was, of course, what the Elite did to Tony Khan, and he, of course, called it a bitch move. Now, you can say that he has a lot of guts to call him out, but when it comes to Elite, these guys don't play games. Now, if I was the mogul, if I was, of course, Swerve Strickland, I would get the Mogul Embassy by his back just in case if things get out of hand. But however, we know that he's set up an open challenge for the AEW World Title, and the person to respond is, of course, the Swiss Superman himself, Claudio Castagnoli. So that will be our main event. Now, we do see, of course, Tony Schiavone giving a medical update on Tony Khan of what happened this past Wednesday, saying that doctors will not clear him to travel, but he's able to work remotely. But that scumbag Nigel McGuinness saying, well, the Young Bucks can take over while he's there. I'm like, yeah, right. So basically, that's what's going to happen. Now, our first match, we have, of course, the Unified World Trios titles. The Bang Bang Gang, of course, with both titles, the ROH and the AEW titles, defended against Top Flight and, of course, Action Andretti. Now, there was moments where we did see, if you guys remember, the Ass Boys used to be in the stands in Daly's Place at the time. So they went back to their old ways. But, however, talented and very impressive Top Flight and Action Andretti are, it wasn't enough to put away the Bang Bang Gang. Of course, it was the switchblade with Blade Runner onto Action Andretti allowed him to retain the belts. Now, the House of Black, as you know, because of what happened in Dynasty, exactly what really took place. Someone was going to challenge Adam Copeland for the TNT title, but the real question is who? So that's going to be coming up next week, I believe, in Winnipeg. I'm not sure, but that's going to be interesting to see. Now, our next match, we have the Phoenix rising from the ashes. We're talking about Rey Fenix taking on the Beast Mortos. I think this is a very good match because it shows Rey Fenix, who's been out on injury, now that Phoenix has rises from the ashes, takes on a very strong Beast. I have to say, what a great match on this one because it showed a little bit of the aspects of Lucha Libre as we always known. But one thing it was interesting is Mortos actually applied a spear while Rey Fenix was about to go on the air, but unfortunately that kind of worked. But of course, none of the tactics that Rey Fenix has normally would use in order to take out his opponent didn't work. It was no effect, so he applied a victory roll in order to pick up the win. Now we do have a brand new interviewer, if you guys notice. Her name is Arcady something. I wrote down the name somewhere. Yeah, Arcady Avail or something like that. Yeah, but anyway, she's our new interviewer. So she interviews Orange Cassidy, of course. Orange Cassidy, he can't oddly grasp of what the situation has now become. Of course, Trent betraying him, and now Chuck Taylor wants to deal with him in the parking lot while he was still on injury. But Chris Salander said that, he still needs us. So they're concerned, I believe, for Chuck Taylor's well-being. Now, of course, coming back from who knows if he was injured or anything, Rush, he takes on Martin Stone. You remember him as Danny Burch in NXT. Of course, the initial story will go like, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. That's exactly what he did. So Rush picked up the win on that. But once again, he decided to leave a statement by doing the bull's horn on Stone. And just like that, it was over. Now, Serena Deeb, as you know, recently has been making a play. Now, Arcady did a little interview with her to find out what's going on. Well, as you know, she made, of course, a statement about that she wants to hold the AEW Women's World Title because this is a now or never situation. She, of course, made a valid point. She is currently undefeated since she came back, which, of course, would put her in a title consistency conversation. So we'll see what Toni Storm would think. I'm sure Toni Storm is not going to take that kindly coming from her. Now, give me a second. Now, speaking of Toni Storm, she faces against Anna Jay. Of course, recently we've been seeing a lot of things have been going on with Toni Storm and Anna Jay. Of course, Anna Jay she has a problem with this whole thing going on with Bina, Mariah, and Toni Storm, that sort of thing. And of course, we saw she made friends with Azumi from Queen's Quest in Stardom. But however, of course, Anna Jay seems like she had everything under control, but unfortunately it was not. It was, of course, Toni Storm with the Storm Zero that allowed her to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have Chuck Taylor getting ready for his match, but he asked one favor for Orange Cassidy and everybody else involved. He said, do not get involved in his match whatsoever. So basically, they gave him his word. So we'll see if they're willing to abide by that. Now, our next match, we do have, of course, the Acclaim taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans. Now, recently we have seen the Grizzled Young Veterans made a very exclusive interview calling out the Acclaim, calling them an embarrassment to the sport. However, of course, the Acclaim are not going to back down. Of course, the Grizzled Young Vets, we have seen them, what a good tag team they are. But however, when it comes to the Acclaim, they're not willing to back down, no matter if people think of them as a joke. They have proven why they are the Acclaim and people love them. But it was the mic drop onto Zach Gibson that gave Mask Caster the win. Now, our final interview here on Collision, we have, of course, Arcady talking to Shibata. Now, of course, Shibata will have to deal with Chris Jericho after what took place on Dynasty with Hook. However, he does have his hands full this coming Rampage, where he has to deal with the members of Shane Taylor Promotions. But Daniel Garcia came around and told him that he wants to be his partner. So he told him, save the last dance for me. So basically, we'll see that coming. Now, our next match we have, of course, is the AEW World Title. Instead of eliminator match, it just went straight into the match. We have Claudio Castagnoli taking on Swerve. I have to say, this was one of the most impressive matches. I mean, this is one of those, dream matches that I think many of us never would have imagined it could happen. It just did. But however, you know the kind of toughness Claudio is. He even took out Swerve when he applied the Swerve Stomp on him, but it didn't work. They went back and forth on this. But in the end, it was, of course, the house call by Swerve to pick up the win. And just like that, it was completely over. And then we did see a sign of respect between both individuals. But now the question is, who will be now Swerve's opponent coming to the Double or Nothing next month? So we'll be seeing that closely. But as of right now, let's just end things right here with Collision. Move on with the next AEW show, Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage. Now, it starts out with a parking lot brawl. Now, don't forget, this particular match has already been pre-taped. It was just added on the whole thing. It's, of course, between two former best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Now, let's talk a little bit about how we got here for this particular match. Trent Beretta, as you know, completely lost his mind when he and Orange Cassidy lost the semifinals in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament. However, Chuck Taylor was trying to find out what's going on. Even Sue was completely flabbergasted for what just transpired. And then, of course, we did see recently on Dynasty, of course, Chuck wanted an answer. Trent wants an answer. Who does he stand with? He even called out Orange Cassidy a narcissist, of all people. But Chuck decided to stand by Orange Cassidy. I feel that Orange Cassidy's friendship is more longer than Trent. And that's always been what I always believe. But however, this is where, of course, Chuck has to put every ounce of energy of this match. But however, it was just way too much for him until Trent Beretta picked up the win. However, he made Orange Cassidy watch while he break his ankle with a bar onto him. So basically, Chuck will be out once again for a much longer opportunity. But for some odd reason, as soon as this was over, we did see that scumbag, Don Callis, watching from a monitor. Now, it doesn't take a genius what he's trying to do. I'm pretty sure he has someone like Chuck that he would definitely, someone like Trent that would be perfect in his ranks. So I wouldn't pass that if that's the case. But we will see in the upcoming weeks what happened. Now, of course, As you know, Kyle O'Reilly was involved in the casino gauntlet match for a chance for the AEW International title. Of course, it was very short for him to get obtained it. But however, he did say that their one of their upcoming events will be in Vancouver. Basically, he is going back to his old roots where it all began for him as a child, saying that I want to be a pro wrestling dad. So that's something we definitely are going to be looking at. Now, our next match, Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo. At first, we did see what was going on between them. They both had a common enemy, Tony Storm, but however, I feel in this storyline it tells us Thunder Rosa had an ego that she couldn't match. I mean, she has been agitated due to the fact she felt that she has always been pleaded. There was that she has never lost the belt or that she had to vacate it because of the belt, and it got that clouded her judgment. And of course, Deonna understood that part, but however, things got out of hand. So basically, they went up to a fight. But however, you would have assumed as a fan watching this, Deonna Purrazzo, who has experience as a grappler, would have found ways to put her away. Well, somehow, um, Thunder Rosa was able to turn this into a pinfall when she had tried to apply the Fujiwara armbar, and just like that. Don't forget, Thunder Rosa does have a bit of a background in MMA, but yes. But however, in the post-match, Deonna Purrazzo retaliated. Things got out of hand between both sides, so that kind of went into, just like that. Now, we did see, of course, an interview with the Undisputed Kingdom, consistent with Bennett, Taven, and Strong. Now, Taven and Bennett actually say that they support Tony Khan for his neck injury. If you guys remember, they did that for Roderick Strong. However, Roderick Strong is all about business now, because the one thing that he cannot tolerate is the fact he is now, I believe he is more worried that there is the possibility he could lose the international title to Will Ospreay. So we'll see when that day happens. I believe that match will take place at Double or Nothing. Now, our next match, we have Big Bill taking on a guy named Trevor Blackwell. Well, as you know, Big Bill is trying to get attention to Chris Jericho for the learning tree. Well, he did. He actually put him in a choke slam, and just like that, it's all she wrote, folks. Now, our main event, we do see Katsuyori Shibata and Daniel Garcia taking on the members of Shane Taylor Promotions, Lee Moriarty, and Shane Taylor. Now, we know that Shibata had to deal with Shane Taylor Promotions recently. This was a very interesting match, but I think my favorite moment of this match is when, of course, Shibata was giving the chops while Daniel Garcia was doing his little dance thingy. I thought it was hilarious, but it was in the end Shibata with the PK on Lee Moriarty that picked up the win. I have to say this is going to be an interesting partnership between Garcia and Shibata, but we will see in the upcoming weeks where this leads us and where does it go. So I think that's pretty much it with all the reviews. I believe it's time for news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with the promotions themselves on their updates for upcoming events. Now, as you know, on May 3rd, we do have GCW Rather You Than Me in Tampa. They just announced Zilla Fatu will be in action to take on the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne Murdoch. Now, of course, later on we do see on the 11th of May, MLW with Azteca Lucha, they just announced Atlantis Jr. taking on Ultimo Guerrero. Now, recently I just added this at a last minute. Scott Edwards just revealed. Now, because I already talked about a little bit of the upcoming events in May, certain things have come across in Stardom recently. It was revealed that Starlight Kid will be teaming up with Tam Nakano. Now, I haven't seen the entirety of the show, but I was aware about what happened during the shows. like certain moments. And once I review it, I'll give you guys my take. Now, this is the matches that they announced where she will team up with Tam Nakano and the Cosmic Angels during the Golden Week. On April 29th, Tam and Starlight Kid will team up to take on the members of Oedo Tai, consistent of Natsuko Tora and Ruka. Then the following day, on the 30th, Tam Nakano and Kid once again they team up, but this time they add the rookie and of course we like to say Tam Nakano's daughter, even though she's not. Sayaka Kurara will team up, taking on the members of Oedo Tai, consistent of Natsuko Tora, Tekla, and Ruaka. Then, of course, Tam and Starlight Kid team up once again on the 4th of May, but this time they will be teaming up with Natsupoi, which is going to be an interesting match. Once again, they take on Oedo Tai, but this time Natsuko and Ruka will be joined with Momo Watanabe. And then finally, on May 5th, we will see, of course, Tam Nakano, Starlight Kid teaming up with, of course, the other members of Cosmic Angels, Syuri Inoi, Yuna Mizumori. They take on once again Oedo Tai, Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, Tekla, and Ruaka. So that's practically for the teaming between Starlight Kid and Tam Nakano. However, the two cards have been announced for Stardom on the 29th and the 30th of May. This is what we do know for this particularly. Let me put it out now. On May 29th, we are told there's going to be Syuri Inoi teaming up with Natsupoi and Yuna Mizumori. They take on, of course, Konami, Ami Sori, and Shuri. Then we have Tam Nakano and Starlight Kid. They take on Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. Then we have Mayu Itana, Hanan, and Azuki and Saya. They take on, of course, EXV, consistent of Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Hanako, Zina, and Waka Tsukiyama. Then we have, of course, Kamitani teaming with Lady C, taking on Momo Watanabe and Tekla. Then Suzuki, she teams up with Miyu Amasaki. I'll get to that a bit. And they take on, of course, the rookies of Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. Then we have Koguma versus Rian, and then Azumi versus Rana Yagami. Now, some of you may question, wait a minute, we know that Zuzu teams up with Mei Sita. What's going on? Well, apparently she will miss out on this particular day due to the fact that she will be at Diana. She has challenged for the world title for that one against Aruka Omasaki. So that's going to be another time. Now, for the 30th of May, which has also been announced, this is what they have for the card. Mayu Iwatani, Azuki, and Koguma, they take on Syuri Inoi, Mei Sita, and Suzuki. And then, of course, we did announce this one earlier. Tam, Kid, and Kurata, they take on Oedo Tai's Asuko, Tekla, and Ruaka. Then we have, of course, a three-way tag match. We have Konami, Ami Sori versus Natsupoi and Yuna Mizumori of Cosmic Angels. And then EXV members, Mina Shirakawa and Sina. Then we move on, of course, with another tag match. We have Maika and Waka Tsukiyama of EXV taking on Suri and Rana Yagami. Then we move on with another trios match. We have star members Saya, Hanan, and Momo Kogo. They take on Saya Kamitani, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki of Queen's Quest. And then there's, of course, a three-way match between Azumi, Hanako, and Rian. And then finally we have Aya Sakura taking on Momo Watanabe. So that is practically what's going to happen in Stardom. Now, finally, we do have, of course, a collaboration between West Coast Pro and the United Wrestling Network for the Killing the Softly that takes place in June. We have Brian Keefe taking on Royce Isaacs of the West Coast Wrecking Crew. So that's pretty much it. What we know, those are the updates in the promotions. Now let's move on with some interesting developments. As you know, recently we've been seeing the Grizzled Young Veterans making appearances, and not only in the major promotions, but also in the independents. However, we've seen them recently in TNA. It was reported that they are no longer in the roster of the TNA. Now, just to make this perfectly clear, they're not officially exclusive to any promotion. So basically, they're just making their presence known. Now, those who know this or not, Apparently, they're going to start up a brand new promotion in the UK in Liverpool. So that's the whole thing. I think their presence are trying to build up, how do I say, presence so they can uh, um, showcase their promotion that they'll be starting. So yeah. Now, will be part of the Unagi Sayaka watch real soon. Uh, Gambare Yoshi's very own YuuRi has issued a challenge to Unagi Sayaka, but this one is a very interesting one. She challenged her for the Kitsune World Championship. Now, this is a belt that's not officially in Japan. This is a belt that is officially here in the States. The promoter is, from my understanding, from here, from my hometown of San Diego, but he does his shows in LA. So it's interesting. But I'm sure he'll be okay with the idea allowing Unagi to defend the belt in Japan, because we know she has defended um, the DDT Ironman Heavy Middleweight Championship, but not often. But we will see. Now, finally, those who know this or not, if you guys don't know who the commentator who was doing the English commentary in Stardom's All-Star Queendom, I actually know the guy. I heard his voice. His name is Stoo Fulton. Now, Stoo Fulton, you may heard his voice doing English commentary for Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, this is not the first time he's ever done a commentary with Stardom. There has been a time where he has been doing commentary for both Noah and Stardom. So he's been doing that a lot. But I don't know why he wasn't involved. I don't know if it has something to do because he's has to be focused with Noah. I don't know. That is something I still don't know. But if you guys are asking who he is, you guys now know who he is. Now, I did not see this moment, as I said before, with Stardom on the latest All-Star Queendom, but that will be on the next episode. Shuri heard about what happened. As you know, there was a surprising appearance from the ace of Ice Ribbon, Tsukasa Fujimoto, who, as you all know, she was out on maternity leave for almost over a year now, and she just made a return, and out of blue, she just stepped foot into Stardom. And apparently, she said that she's going to have a tag match with her and her best friend. So basically, Mayu may have to find a tag partner, and Shuri just posted herself out there saying, like, pick me, I want to fight, I want to take on Fujimoto once again. So that's kind of interesting to hear. So we will see what happens. Now, for all you Saki Kashima fans, apparently it's already been foretold that Kashima will miss out on the 29th and 30th of May due to injury, that sort of thing. So I don't know if they meant, or no, wait, I think it's this month. My bad, for April. So basically, that's gonna sad, but we hope for a speedy recovery. The Rock has made a very interesting announcement on his Instagram page, and I think some of you WWE fans or fans of this guy, of Drew McIntyre, can say, finally. Yes, guys, finally. Drew McIntyre has re-signed with WWE. Now, we don't know what's taking so long. You know how it is. Sometimes there's the disagreement about, contracts or what the deal is. So but however, I can say that, I'm glad that they finally got what they were planning to do with them, but we'll see where it goes from here. Now, if you guys are fans or ever seen the promotion based out of the country Thailand, we have Set Up Thailand Pro Wrestling. They just announced they will be having their show streamed on the IWTV, which is the Independent Wrestling Television. If you guys haven't got the app yet, you should get the IWTV app, and you'll be getting your shows from there. I'm not sure if they will continue to broadcast stuff on YouTube. Normally, I've been watching their shows there. I just recently did a review with them on their much recent event called Bangkok Strong Style that features Zack Sabre Jr. and El Phantasmo. So we'll see. Now, finally, for our news updates here, this one was very surprisingly, and I was shocked. Darby Allin, once again, he ended up in a hospital. He got hit by a bus in New York City. Yeah, you heard me, guys. I have to say he is the luckiest person on earth. He somehow was able to cheat death, and I'm glad he's okay. I just hope he makes a full recovery. First it was the foot, and now this, broke his nose or something. but I'm just glad that he's okay, and hope we get to see him soon. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for what we have for all the reviews and our news updates. I believe it's time to call it a day. Okay, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Now, I will be doing the review for the Stardom All Star Grand Queendom. I was unable to do it due to the fact that, of course, I was extremely tired from my day job. Not an excuse, guys, but that's how I live my life. I try to do the very best I can to give you guys some awesome reviews, but this one is on the top of the list. I'm glad that I was able to get AEW and New Japan out of the way. So I haven't decided what I will do. There's still some wrestling I haven't seen along the way, but I'll get to those as soon as possible. I know I'm behind on All Japan, Noah, and a few other places, but I think I might have to make a judgment call on Noah on that one. But we'll see where that leads us from here on out. We'll just see. But as of right now, I'll just say this. I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.